what Allah has created upside down. It's going to be a difficult book to write, and I don't know how long it will take, but I know I have many people who will help me in writing that book. I'll be able to get help from many people in writing that book, as well as a book on money, because these two subjects are now fairly well known by those who are not scholars of Islam. And then come the last book of the 5. May Allah give me life long enough to write it, which is Dajjal, the Quran, and Akhirul Zaman. The book is already here in my head. It's just a matter of sitting down and writing it. And in this book, we'll be able to bring out everything that is there in the Quran pertaining to Dajjal and Akhirul Zaman. I took a decision that in order to write these books, I'm going to have to leave Malaysia, because I simply have too many visitors in Malaysia and too much work to do. There are too many lectures to deliver and so on. And I was not getting time to write. So I decided to return to Trinidad to be able to write these books, and hopefully that I'll find the time in Trinidad to do so. While I'm here in Trinidad, my assistant Hasbullah is there in Greek at the Institute of Islamic Eschatology that we're trying to establish in the north of Malaysia. My teacher, Maulana Dr. Fadlur Rahman Ansari, rahimahullah, felt that the Darul Uloom was not producing the kind of graduate who could successfully grapple with the problems of the modern age. So we did not have scholars of Islam who were being produced who were competent to deal with the world today. And that's why he established the Alimia Institute of Islamic Studies in Pakistan. And while he was alive, we were fortunate to be trained by him. And that's why we are able, by Allah's kindness and grace, to make the impact that we are making in the world today, not just the world of Islam, but the whole, in the non-Muslim world as well, to command the respect of others. My brother, my learned brother Maulana Siddiq Ahmad Nasir is an outstanding scholar of Islam. My brother, he's a student of Maulana Fadlur Rahman Ansari. My learned brother, Dr. Abul Fadl Mohsen Ibrahim, who is in Durban, South Africa, an outstanding scholar of Islam, but his field is Islamic medical ethics. He's devoted himself to that field. My learned brother is like a diamond of a scholar, Sheikh Ali Mustafa, is in Holland at this time, and hopefully he'll be leaving Holland and coming to join us in Trinidad. These were students, Maulana Dr. Wafi Muhammad, who is here in Trinidad. These are students of Maulana Fadlur Rahman Ansari, rahimahullah. Since he died, however, we don't have that caliber of graduates coming out of the institute in Pakistan. But the important thing is that Maulana Ansari concentrated on quality, not on quantity. So the Alimia Institute of Islamic Studies never had more than about 40 students. Never. And a class would comprise of maybe 3, 4, 5 students. That's all. So the teachers were able to devote attention to the students. And when you found a good student, Maulana would devote attention to him and train him. And I was very, very fortunate to be there while he was alive. Times have now changed, and we cannot even survive with 40 students. We have to downgrade. So our institute in Greek is not going to admit more than 10 at a time. No. So very, very small. So tonight I am here from Trinidad sharing with you the view that the institute is now functioning. We have a teacher there for Islamic eschatology, my dear student and assistant Hasbullah, who is from Singapore. And I'm inviting you now, those of you who would like to study, We have an enormous amount of material already available to you in my books and in my videos, that you can sit down in your home. You don't have to leave your home and study them all. You don't even have to buy my books. You can download them from the internet free of charge. That's one of the best decisions I ever took in my life, to put all my books on my website, all, for free download, even though I earn my livelihood from the sale of the books. But more about that later. So you don't have to leave your home. If you want to go to Greek to study with us, it is actually for sharing information, for putting your head together with us, and for asking questions on matters you don't understand fully, and for discussions. And for that, you don't need to spend a year, 2 years. No, if you can come, you have a visa for 3 months, yes, you come with a tourist visa. And you don't pay for accommodation, no. You don't pay for classes, no. But tell your mother to teach you how to cook, because you have to cook your own food in Greek. And you can try to bring some lotion for the mosquitoes, because at some time of the year there are lots of mosquitoes. But Greek is a lovely place. It's in the north of Malaysia. It's very quiet. It's in the remote countryside. There are no houses close by, and even the internet is very difficult to get over there. So it's a wonderful place to go for studies. And if you'd like to go to Greek and spend a little time with Hasbullah, you send me an email. Go to my website and send me an email if you don't have my email address. And we will arrange for you to be invited to join us in Greek to study there. I now have to turn to funding. I have not made a public appeal for funds for several years now, and there have been those who have been helping us with funds. We don't need much money, alhamdulillah, we don't need much money. We already have nearly all our buildings up. We need one more building, but that's not urgent really. So we don't need much money, but we do need to ask for some funds now for the Institute. I have to help meet the cost of the Institute from the sale of my books, and I don't earn much money from the sale of my books. And there are roadblocks being put up preventing you from sending money. So the easiest and the best way, if you want to help me with the Institute in funding, the easiest and the best way is simply to go to my online bookstore, imranhosein.com, and place an order for books. That's what you have to do. You can even order this new book, Dajjal, the Quran, and Awwalul Zaman. You can make an advance order. And it's probably going to be about 15 euros. And we'll then send you an invoice. And then you can use that invoice to go to the bank and send money. Don't use Western Union, that's too expensive. You can use PayPal with an invoice, yes, to pay for books. And when the book is printed, we can then ship it to you. And then you can use that book as you wish. You can give it to your friends and family and so on. And you help us in the process with funds for the Institute. The next thing I want to talk about is that several of my books are now out of print, and I need to reprint them. So I also need funds for reprinting of books, not only funds for the Institute, but funds for reprinting a book. For example, I think Suratul Kahf, the text translation and commentary, the hardcover book is out of print, and we need to reprint them. So if you can assist us with cost of reprinting, we'd be grateful. But there is another subject which is even more important than the books which are out of print. And that is that I have an enormous amount of students in France, and they're growing constantly, and they want my books in French. They want my books in French. And there are also many French-speaking Muslims in North Africa who want my books in French, in Tunisia, in Algeria, in Morocco, and so on. And I would like to have the books printed in France, so we don't have to ship them into France and face the customs in France. No. Printed in France, and I therefore need funds to pay the cost of printing in France, and to do it in such a way that we print maybe only 500 copies at a time, small amounts. Of course, it's going to be more expensive to print 500 copies than to print 5,000 copies. 5,000 copies, the cost of printing a book might be half of 500. But it's safer, perhaps, to print only about 500 at a time. And I need, therefore, funds to print my books in France in French. And one of the ways in which this can be done is that I already have in France now about 900 copies of my book on Khidr alayhi salam in French, already published and shipped to France, and about 900 copies of my book on alcohol, the Quranic method of curing alcoholism and drug addiction, and about 900 copies. And they're already in France. If I can get these copies sold in bulk, that will give me the funds I need to start printing these books one at a time in France. The cost of both the two books, I think the retail cost is about 12 euros, 5 and 7. But if you can order from me in bulk, of course, we reduce the price. And this is a good way to help me. If I can sell, say, about 500 copies each, you can buy 50 copies, and then you can distribute them to those who are hungry for this knowledge. You can give them to scholars of Islam in France and so on. This will be a great help for me. So remember these two books, the book on Khidr, In Search of Khidr's Footprints in Akhir Zaman, which is translated to French and published, and the Quranic Method of Curing Alcoholism and Drug Addiction, the new edition, which is also translated to French and published, and we have the copies already in France. So this is the most urgent one at the moment. If you're in France, or if you're in Belgium, if you're in Germany, and you want to help me, please send me an email that you'd like to order so many copies of these two books to help me to meet the cost of printing about 10 other books I really have now in French, so that the books can go on the market in French to the French-speaking people who are hungry, really hungry for this knowledge. They want to read my books in French. I want to now end this brief session with you here from my sitting room in my Caribbean island of Trinidad by saying to you that I will be traveling again shortly, inshallah, in another 2 months or so. I hope that I'll have no problems with British immigration and French immigration. Switzerland is now becoming too expensive, It's frightfully expensive. We cannot afford to rent a hall in Switzerland for the seminars. And when you come to Switzerland, the cost of hotels is so prohibitive. And since I've had no problems with British and French immigration, we can now probably have our sessions in Britain and France rather than in Switzerland. But these will not be public events now. I do not want to provoke any response. So what we'll do is organize private gatherings, small gatherings, and if you'd like to join us in a seminar, you just simply stay in touch with me by email if you're in France or in Britain. And my students in France and in Britain will organize these small gatherings, maybe 20, 25 people, and we sit down one evening, we'll have dinner together, everybody will cook and bring some food, and I spend the evening with you, informally. This is how it'll have to be done in France and in Britain, but you'll enjoy it this way better than to have 200 people in a hall. If we're only 25 people and we have a few hours together in a sitting room and it's an informal session, it's going to be more enjoyable, yes, I tell you. So look forward to this, inshallah, in the next 2-3 months in Britain and in France. And I hope, inshallah, you'll be happy to hear this in Pakistan, that I'll try to make a visit to Pakistan as well, provided I have no problems in entering Pakistan. Pakistan is going through an even more dangerous phase of its existence than it has experienced before. And I'm happy to see that the leadership, that people of Pakistan are forcing their leadership now to take more intelligent decisions concerning Pakistan relations with the outside world. But still, there's more to be done, and Pakistan needs to do more to be able to put itself in a better position, to be able to face the challenges which lie ahead. The problem with the leaders is they're not people who have spirituality in them. They don't have religious knowledge in them. No. And whether they are sincere or insincere, you have a better understanding than I do about them. And they need, therefore, to listen to the advice and guidance of those who have the knowledge that they don't have, and who are able to guide spiritually as they cannot, so that Pakistan may benefit from such guidance, and that the policies of the government of Pakistan would reflect the feelings and the heart of the people of Pakistan, who have their hearts in the right place, of course. So if you're in Pakistan, I hope I'll be able to visit you sometime in the next few months. And I look forward, inshallah, to completing this book on Dajjal, the Quran, and the beginning of history, or Awwal Zaman. And you can already go to my bookstore and start ordering the book in advance. It should be about £15, sorry, not 15 euros, £15 per copy. It's going to be just a little bigger than my book on methodology for the study of the Quran. Just a few pages more than that, perhaps. So thank you very much for being patient with me. And I'm making this appeal for support and for funds now for the Institute, for printing of my books. Oh, I forgot, for travel as well. I need to travel not only to Pakistan, I need to travel to Belgrade in December. I need to be in Belgrade because my book on methodology for the study of the Quran has been translated to the Bosnian Serbian language and published in Belgrade. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. With an excellent foreword written by Professor Branko Ravic, who was a professor of law, distinguished professor of law of the University of Belgrade, and my dear friend, Professor Branko Ravic. And I have to be there in Belgrade, inshallah, for the launching of the book in December. So I need funds to pay the cost of travel, to pay for hotels and so on. And whenever I have made an appeal for funds, Allah always sends it for me. Alhamdulillah. So this time as well, I have not made an appeal for funds for several years now. And I hope and I pray where these words reach you, wherever you are, that you can respond by making orders. This is the safest way. If you want, you can send money directly and hopefully it will reach me to the bank account. You can just send me an email. But if you have problems in sending money, then the easiest way would be to make a big order for books. And then we send you an invoice, and then you can send that, you can pay through PayPal or through a bank account. We pray that Allah may bless you all, inshallah. Well, thank you very much. Oh, finally, this recording is being done in my home. And we have equipment that we didn't have before. Excellent equipment now to record here in my home. And this is because of a kind donation from Canada. So we thank you, Canada, for your kind donation, through which we're able to do the recordings now from my home. Excellent quality recordings. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.